you sum up today's proceedings?
Yeah, it was quite a frustrating day, wasn't it? I thought when we turned up, it was obviously a bit soggy and a bit wet, but thought we'd get a game in at some point, but obviously the conditions didn't improve a hell of a lot. Yeah, the pitch was in great shape. It looked like an absolute belter. But I think it was unfit. I mean, it improved, or it felt like it improved when we walked out for our warm-up, but once we started warming up, it was pretty clear that there was quite a few soggy and damp patches that were a bit unsafe, and unfortunately over the next, I think about 3 hours, they just didn't improve at all.
How common were that around the ground? Can you just elaborate on?
There was a good handful, but they were in really key spots, backward point, cover, square leg, them spots that are pretty hot spots in the field, and particularly in and around the ring were quite soggy and slippery, and the water was quite was splashing up quite a bit around that area, which you get most traffic inside the ring. So that was what was a major concern. Along with management, we both went, once we started warming up, and realised that at 4 o'clock, I think, excuse me, when we started our warm up, that they were a bit unsafe, and then threw it over to the umpires from there. And to be fair, they just didn't improve. I don't think the Super Sopper did a hell of a lot, to be honest. It's just one of those things. It just, for a place that hasn't had rain for 11 weeks, it was quite extraordinary.
And given the umpires had said that there would be a toss at a certain time, were they surprised that you guys then went to them and said, we're not too sure about the surface?
No, they weren't, because I think that was an ultra aggressive start time, and I mean at the time when we walked out before we'd warmed up, we thought it was fair and we were ready to crack on. But once we started warming up, everything was getting soaking wet, and there was just, like I said, there was parts that you hit the ball and it just water would go everywhere. So it wasn't ideal, and I don't think it would have been safe for players to play on. Well, when you're fielding in particular, there's so much sideways movement, so much lateral stuff, that when you're unsure of your footing, when the ground's constantly moving underneath you, it's very easy for your feet to slip out from underneath you, and we don't have footy boots on for a start. Like you've got pretty small spikes, so I think that's a safety concern in itself. Guys trying to move laterally with a moving ground's never going to be an ideal surface to play on, and with standing water or laying water there, if someone's diving, they're just going to dig into the outfield.